All right, we're ready to talk about Lesson 11-2, comparing and ordering integers. Now, I didn't mention in the last lesson integer. That might be a new word for you at this point. An integer is just another name for a number. Okay, integers can be positive numbers, it can be negative numbers. It's just another name for a number. As you go ahead in math in the 7th, 8th, 9th, and so on, they start to use the word integer more often than they use number. So just get used to it. It just means number. Don't let it confuse you. All right, so in this section we are comparing and ordering integers. Okay, so that means we're going to have some negative numbers and we're going to have some positive numbers. Okay, so with negative numbers, I always like to think about it as money. Okay, if I have a debt, okay, so that would be negative, right? I owe that amount. Okay, so if I'm comparing -4 and -2, which is the larger number? Well, if it's a debt, the larger number would be the number that I would prefer to have, right? Well, would I rather owe somebody $4 or would I rather owe somebody $2? Well, they both kind of stink, but if I had to choose one, the value I would prefer, or the greater value, would be the -$2, okay? And with negative numbers, the closer the number is to 0, the greater it is. The further away from 0 it is, the less it is. Okay, so let's look here. Well, this one's pretty straightforward. We've got -6 and 4. Well, anytime you've got a positive and a negative, obviously the positive is going to be greater. Would I rather owe somebody $6 or would I rather have $4 in my pocket? Well, duh, I'd rather have $4. Okay, here we go. -3 or 0, which is the greater value. Would I rather owe somebody $3 or just not have any money at all? Well, I'd rather not owe anybody, so 0 is greater. Okay. -4, -8, okay, which one's closer to 0? -4, that is the larger value. All right, now you might see, I'm not sure if you'll see it in the section, but you might see something like, okay, like that. Now, I know you learned about what this meant in your last section, right? If it's got the 2 lines on the side of it, what does that mean? That's the absolute value, okay? That means how far is that number away from 0? Well, and remember, the absolute value is always the positive value of that number. Okay? So the absolute value of -8 is 8. Okay? So if you have something like this, then it would be that, because the absolute value of -8 is 8. 8 is greater than -4. All right. So that's comparing. Now let's work on ordering. Okay? So I'll just give you some numbers. All right, so we're going to order from least to greatest, okay? So remember, least is the number that is below 0, is the furthest away from 0, okay? So which of these numbers is negative is the furthest away from 0? Well, -12, right? Okay, so -12 is my smallest number. Okay? Now that that's gone, which one is the next furthest away from 0? Well, we've got -3, -4, -2. -4 is the next furthest away, right? Okay, that's gone. And then we've got, okay, -3 and -2, which is smaller. -3 is smaller. Okay, and then we've got -2. All right, so now we should be in familiar territory. Okay, we got 6, 3, 0. What's the smallest? Okay, well, 0. And then 3, and then 6. All right, so I've ordered those from least to greatest. All right, so good luck with this section.